reason I started blogging was to share my story, because I had kept in my bio, I talk about being a sexual assault survivor. I kept that a secret for 11 years. No, my husband knew, but that was it. And so in 2014, for me, it was really, I was at that kind of point in my life where I needed to decide, am I going to stay stuck where I am, or am I going to somehow move forward in my life?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Season 5 of the 15-ish Minute Coffee Chat, a conversation providing tips for every entrepreneur and business owner.
Blogging is still very relevant in 2021 for a business platform. It's a great way to set yourself up as an expert in your field. Join host Selena of Hauoli Socially Inspired and Anna of NomadAbout with guest Samantha Laycock of Samantha Laycock Blogging to discuss blogging for business, the advantages, the purpose, and how to set yours up for monetization and success.
Yeah, we're so excited to have our guests on today from two previous, we still blog a little bit, right? But from two bloggers, we're super excited to talk about blogging today. This is like kind of a big topic. Because you've got the people that are like, blogging is dead. And then you've got the people that are like, blogging is my life.
Yeah, I am a super fan, always a fan of blogging. It's where I started. If I hadn't blogged, I will tell you, I would not be in what I am doing today. Promise. And I was blogging like back when it was blogger.com, if anybody recalls.
Me too. Yes.
And it started as like a family like journal where we could just read each other's stuff, you know? So I do want to know, do you guys blog? Like, can you tell us? That would be like what I would love to know, you know? So Heidi, thanks for joining us. Yay. And John. Thanks, John. We are trying, you know?
Pop in the comments if you're a blogger and if you blog just for business or if you also blog for pleasure. Like, and by pleasure, you know, just like your own thoughts, your own comments.
I think it acts as a great journal too. And I think for me with, you know, and they've been dubbed mommy blogs, right? And so I had one and I had it for a very long time, but I really got sort of serious. I wasn't able to do the monetization probably because I didn't have somebody like Samantha, our guest today, guiding me on how to do this properly. And she said a couple of things backstage that I was like, yes, this is why I probably didn't go all the way through with it. But I loved writing because it allowed me to kind of just get out some things that I wanted to talk about, but it also acts as like this memory capturing holder thing. I can go back and I can look at how I was feeling and being and moments, you know, and for those that aren't just like notebook journal writers, that's what my mommy blog did for me.
Exactly. So, okay. So we're talking about Samantha. Yeah. Let's read her bio and pop her in. So we can start to have our conversation.
Let's do it. Hold on. Let me just get myself together because this is what we want. Okay, go ahead. Oh no, this is me.
Yeah.
It's Monday, guys. We had Mother's Day yesterday. The brain was not working. Okay. Samantha is the owner and creator of Samantha Laycock Blogging. She is an authentic expression coach for women ready to share their stories and heal from their past. She's 35 years old, a mother of 3, a wife of 15 years, and a sexual assault survivor. And a big advocate for sharing your story through blogging. So, without further ado, let's bring in.
Yay! Hello. I feel like I'm on like a talk show and I'm strutting out.
You're like swagging out to the chair, waving to the crowd.
I feel like we need some intro music, right? It's like, your intro song.
But welcome. We are so excited that you're here today. And first of all, we're excited because Samantha is one of 2 guests. She's an international guest because tell everybody where you're from, Samantha.
I live in Calgary, Alberta. I'm so excited to be here. It's so awesome that I'm like number 2 of international guests.
Yes. You're actually, so we pre-recorded our first guest and she was from Australia, but in London, but you're our first like one on the show. So you're number 1, girl. We love it.
Awesome. I like that.
Yes. Right. Yes. That can be part of your bio. The first international guest on the 15-ish.
So, that's a great addition to your bio.
Exactly. It's going to be like headlined on my website.
International guest speaker.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if anybody is watching from Samantha's side, please feel free to comment throughout the show so you can show her some support as well. And just anybody watching, just make sure you're part of our show. So please comment. But here we go. Let's move on, right?
So we're going to start with our coffee cup selfie, which is what, because if we don't do it now, we forget about it. Yeah. So,
okay.
All right. So go ahead and get your coffee cup up there and let's pose.
Wait. I want, look what I did.
Oh,
can you
nice.
see it? I was hoping I was right. And I was like, I didn't know if I read it right, but okay.
Mine's just a message. Look, you're worth it.
Okay. On 3, guys. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Perfect.
Cheers, ladies. Thanks for let's have a great show today.
Right.
So
I know.
Okay. So I think we're going to be moving on to the I actually almost said it, but we're going to move on to our toolkit. Let's see here. There we go.
Yes. So we ask our guests, we used to just come up with a toolkit on our own, but now we like to ask our guests what it is they use in their business on a daily basis that is the most helpful tool for them. And Samantha threw Trello at us, and Selena and I were both thrilled because we are avid fans of Trello. Together we probably have 20 different Trello boards.
Yeah.
We have one for the 15-ish minute coffee chat. In fact, it's how we keep all of our guests and all of our emails and all the things that we're doing organized. So if you aren't familiar with Trello is basically an organizational tool. Yeah. And you have lists and you have cards, and the cards are kind of like your portal where you kind of manage each little piece of your tasks, and you can track them. You can put timelines on them. You can create checklists within them. You can share it with teammates and have group boards where more than one person is invited to participate in it. Anyhow, if you're not a Trello user, we will pop, I don't know, does somebody have like a referral code? We should pop a referral code in there for Trello. And you try it out for free, and it actually is free all the time. If you don't want some of the more like robust features that it offers, it's free all the time. So anyway, clearly I could talk about this for hours.
She got so excited. She's like, I love it. Okay.
I have to tell you though, I have gotten my homeschool mom friends. They all do their homeschool stuff on Trello now. Yeah. I've got my husband on Trello for his side hustle business now. He's using it. My daughter is a scouter. She's got all of her scout stuff on Trello now. I mean, we are a Trello using family.
So Samantha.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us, how do you use Trello? Why do you use Trello?
I love being organized. Like I am like super, I'm anal about getting organized, especially as blogging, because it's like multiple, like different pieces that need to go into it. And so if I'm not organized, and let's face it, I'm a mom of 3, I have no memory, no brain left most days. And so for Trello, I use it where I actually, if you want, I can put it in the comments. I have a blog organization one that I have that I created that you can copy. It's just a template. But it's really about, I have one that is the one I use for my business. So I have it. I keep track of my numbers. I keep track of my blog post ideas. If I'm writing a guest blog post, I have a list for that.
Please
I have a list for when they go live, right? Because I found that all of a sudden it was like, I've done guest blog posts and all of a sudden I don't have the links anymore because I have no idea where they've gone. And so now I have it in my Trello board where once it's published, I take the link and I put it there because then I can share it more often, right? And then I use it even for my group coaching programs. So now they have access to it where I can put my principles, if they have it. I do it where the week, they now know what's coming for the next week. So I have an outline that says, this is what we're going to talk about. Here it is if you need to look at it. Here's worksheets you need to do. And I have all of that. So I love Trello. Definitely.
from Heidi about, do you use the free version of Trello? So Heidi, I'm going to just give you just really quick. I am a researcher to the umpteenth millionth time. And when Selena first told me about Trello, I was like, yeah, I'm sure it's a great tool. Thank you, Selena, very much for yet another app to add to my computer.
She's always so mad when I give her another app, Samantha.
I started with Trello free.
Yeah.
The free version, and now I do pay for it because it really has managed to take over a huge amount of my organizational tasks. Like it is the thing that I use. If it's not on my Trello board or my Google Calendar, it's not in my world for the most part. And so when I keep everything in there. Like, I mean, don't go hacking my Trello because, then I'll be really mad. But all of the links to all the important things I need to remember, they are all housed in Trello. So I know that there's one repository place where I can go to find everything.
Yes, for sure. And then I think, like I said, Heidi had asked, like, do we all use the free versions? You can do a lot with the free version. But then when you want to take it to the next level, get the paid version. And it's not bad, so...
Yeah, we've got another question from Keelan Halverson. I've always been super unorganized and am really trying to learn better self-management and organizational skills. Does Trello provide as much use for individuals as it does for teams?
Absolutely.
The answer is yes. Like I mentioned earlier, I have Trello cards for myself personally. I have ones for our family vacations. When we do organization in that sense, I have one for house projects that we have going on, just like task lists and things like that you just want to remember. And I keep them in checklists. So, there's that satisfying done. And then it strikes through the comment. And so you're like, yes, I accomplished something today.
I am going to drop in Samantha's link to her template. I mean, I think a lot of people are unsure of like, how do I organize it? So you could take what she did with her blog, with her Trello board, and see how she organizes it. And sometimes that can inspire you to do, other things in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, I even have it for, I listened to a really good podcast from Chalene Johnson, and it's called the 90-Day Reset.
Oh, I love
so
it.
It's all about setting goals for the next 90 days. But I like it because she gives you the topics to set goals under. So I've actually taken that podcast and turned it into a Trello board, because then I can write the ideas underneath it that come up and reset for the next 90 days. And then once those 90 days are done, I just have to delete everything and restart from scratch, right?
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
so
fun.
Smart. So many different things you can do. We can talk about Trello all day long, but we're not going to. So grab that link.
Yeah.
Go take a look at Samantha's Trello blog, and that's her recommend. So then you're throwing her back a free month if you go ahead and sign up with Trello using her link, which is kind of a nice thing to do. Yeah. So, all right.
Okay, so
yes,
let's move on to the next thing.
We're moving on. So this is the next part of our show, is where we like to ask what we call our mental health question of the day. And this is something that we incorporated after last season, when we realized that mental health isn't something we as business people talk about enough, or, we don't really incorporate it into our business plans, especially as small businesses or entrepreneurs or solopreneurs or whatever you call yourself. And so our question for you today, Samantha, comes from Lauren Bruhn, who we call our mental health barista. I'm keeping with that coffee chat idea.
I know.
So Lauren's question that she provided was, how does mental health and wellness impact your role as a blogger?
Well, for me, I actually started blogging as in the mental health niche. Because the reason I started blogging was to share my story, because I had kept in my bio, I talk about being a sexual assault survivor. I kept that a secret for 11 years. No, my husband knew, but that was it. And so in 2014, for me, it was really, I was at that kind of point in my life where I needed to decide, am I going to stay stuck where I am, or am I going to somehow move forward in my life? And for me, that secret was what was keeping me stuck. And so for the first blog post I ever wrote, I shared my story and I just put it out in the world, because at that point it was nobody could say anything to me that I already hadn't said to myself. So there was no downside at that point. And what I realized is that I didn't get the negativity that I expected. And I think that's why people stop and they don't share their stories, is because they're expecting all of this judgment and all of this negativity to come forward. And instead, I got this community of women that was like, thank you for sharing. This happened to me. You're not alone. And all of a sudden, I had this community of complete strangers saying thank you. And that is what I needed. And so for me, my mental health, and what I pride myself in and what my mission is to show people the real side, right? And that's why I blog, because that is that connection piece. That is why even on my social media, I have gone and I've cried on social media. And I just want people to know that I'm in front of my audience, and they're there because they need to know that it's not just them, right? And so my impact and my role is to say it is okay that life gets messy, that there are these moments that you just want to give up and you want to walk away. Just remember that there's someone out there that is struggling too, right? And so it's really about that, creating that connection piece, because especially now when, I mean, we're again coming into a lockdown where we don't have that connection, right? I don't see my friends. We haven't seen anybody in way too long. I don't live near my family, so there's that disconnect as well, right? So it's just me and my kids. So as a blogger, I'm able to say, this is my story, this is my life, this is what helped me even to heal. Maybe you can try it, right? Because it's giving me that outlet to say, here, this is what worked, this is what didn't, but try it anyway. See what works for you, see what doesn't work for you.
I love that you're first for you went to blogging to share this story, right? Because you had this emotional need to just tell your story, you know, to let that become something that was known publicly. But then it turned from that and has turned into an actual business for you, like where you have these different aspects of where, yes, you can, if you have a personal trauma, or even just, it doesn't even have to be a trauma. It can just be everyday life.
Yeah.
And then it's okay to just jump on and share everyday life. But then also you can monetize this. You can make a business out of this. And what you're sharing can go further and farther and become bigger and more, you know, and actual profitable for you, like on a business sense of things. And I love that you were able to do that. And what started with you sharing these emotional feelings, you know, to help your mental health and your wellness for yourself has turned into this great opportunity for you at this point.
Yeah, because I think we don't realize is that we are experts in something, right? We have I call it the experience list, right? And that it comes down to, what have I gone through in my life? It can be as simple as, hey, I moved to a different country. I moved to a new province. Those are all experiences. And within those experiences, I have learned something throughout that. And this is what I teach my clients is, there is someone currently going through what you already went through, right? And so you can take that experience and say, this is what I learned. This is what helped me. And that is really using your story and taking your story and saying, I'm an expert. I know what I'm talking about because I've lived through it. Living through something is way better than having a certificate.
Yes.
Right? Because you can connect with that person on a way deeper level than anybody else can.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know, I'm looking on your website right now too. And I think one of the things that you offer is, for me, what I got from everything you just said is that it came from a need to heal, right? Is blogging. And so I love that this gave you that avenue to start a healing process. And that's what she also offers on her website. So I think a lot of people sometimes when they do blog, they're blogging to let something out. And so go with an expert that definitely can help. But that's what I got from it. And I love that you started it. And I love that you took that first step to share. Because that's oftentimes the hardest, right? Samantha, is when you write it, that's one thing, but to hit publish is like,
it's terrifying. It's like, there's no way around it. But at the time, once I hit publish, it was like this weight had lifted off, because I was no longer having to pretend it didn't exist. Right. And that's what I had been doing. And the moment I hit publish, I allowed myself to start that grieving process, because without acknowledging it, I never started the grieving process. I never tried to. And it's funny because I started on blogger.com as well.
So,
and I actually titled my first blog The Original Samantha, because I was trying to get back to who I was in the moments before the sexual assault. And it was through the process of blogging that I realized that wasn't an option for me. I had to learn to love who I was afterwards, because there was no going back to the original me, right? I needed to learn to love myself. And so I took my readers on that journey of, this is what I'm doing. These are the and I started in 2014. The self-love movement wasn't big. It's not like it is today, where you have people talking about it all the time, and you have books, and you have, big names, influencers talking about it. Back then, there wasn't. And so I just kind of made it up as I went. And I said, here, this is what worked for me. This is what didn't. Here's my step-by-step process. And that helped me to continue, because then I was getting those messages from those strangers saying, thank you, your post helped me. So it was a two-way street that I'd never realized, because I thought that I was helping people, women, with what they were going through. What I didn't realize is that they were helping me just as much. They were helping me continue through the dark moments, through the times of struggle, because they were really there and just saying, don't give up, right? I need your words. And another thing that I tell my clients all the time is, you're not doing it and you're not showing up for the followers, for the readers who are commenting. You are showing up for the readers and your social media followers that you have no idea are even there, because they don't have a voice yet. And you are giving them the voice. And to me, that is more powerful than knowing that I have 20 comments on something. I'm hoping there's one woman out there reading my stuff and saying, okay, you know what? She did it. I can do it. And she's reading everything that I'm putting out there. And so that's the real power, right? It's not about the numbers. It's not, at the end of the day. It's about the impact that you're making that you don't know you're making.
Right there. The impact. That's like the most important. And sometimes you don't see it. And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Right. So,
and this is important to remember too. Samantha focuses on blogging for mental health and wellness, like healing traumas and whatnot. But if that might not be your blog's focus. So I want to make sure that people who are listening understand that you can have a blog on whatever your expertise is. I'm a copywriter, social media manager. You could be a small business entrepreneur. You could be really good at golf. Whatever it is that's your passion or that you want to share, you can create a blog on that. And what happens is when your blogs get posted, and especially if you are good about updating them regularly, it doesn't have to be an everyday thing necessarily, but updating regularly, you start to show up in search engines. And that's how people find you. Because when I'm searching for information on something, like Samantha was saying, right? Like, I'm getting ready to move to Canada. What do I need to know? And she has written a blog about this, and she's going to pop up on my search engine. I'm going to read her blog. I'm going to go back to her for more information because I know she knows what she's talking about. And that's kind of no
matter what you blog about, you can add pieces of your story in. Because I did a podcast interview last week, and that's what it was. They're like, I don't understand how I can add my story in. And I said, what you don't realize is that every day you're creating something. You are leaving a whatever. You can talk about my kids didn't eat breakfast this morning, and that's how it's relevant to whatever you're talking about.
Yes.
Right. So it comes back to just adding those pieces. It doesn't mean you have to get super personal. It doesn't mean you have to share those traumatic experiences.
Right.
It means that in order to build that trust and connection, and that's what blogging is, you still need to share pieces of yourself. It doesn't have to be deep, dark secrets.
Yes.
But you have to show your readers glimpses into your life so that they have that piece that they're like, I get her. I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're doing it for business purposes, you have started a business for a reason. Most entrepreneurs don't just go, okay, you know what? Let's go do this. This is a great idea. Right? It is about
a lot of money and spend a lot of time on something.
It is a passion. Yeah. And that passion is coming from something, whether that is something that happened in your past, whether it's something that you're currently living through. It is taking that passion and putting the words to it so that your readers can feel that passion.
Yeah. I love that. This is really all about that authenticity side of things that's becoming so important right now for businesses. Yeah. People are searching for businesses that are authentic, that share of themselves, that share their value bases, that share their, what's important to them. And I think that blogging allows exactly what you were saying. Blogging allows you to put pieces of your story, your value system, your foundation, your why, whatever it is, it allows you to bring that into your business. That's awesome.
Agreed. We could talk about, I think we're all passionate about blogging, and I think we can see why, but we have to move on to our espresso shot.
Okay, so we do have another question for you, Samantha.
Yeah.
So our question is, can you give us 2 ways to monetize your blogging efforts? Because some people are like, if it's not going to make me some money, I don't know that I can spend the time to do it. So can you just give us a couple little tips of, now she teaches this in a class, and we're going to pop that link into the comments so that if you're interested in really getting to know all about monetizing your blog, you can check out Samantha's course that she offers, but she's going to give us just a couple of tips now.
Yeah. So the first tip is, if you're just starting out, do not monetize.
Very important.
My biggest pet peeve is, I see it on Pinterest all the time, is, hey, how to make 10K in 30 days on your blog. Most of the time, those people have years of experience in front of them. And by saying that they made 10K in their first 30 days, they're taking away all of the work they did prior. Okay. And it is not reasonable. So you can have a plan. I believe in having a plan and having a vision, and laying that foundation down is so important because, like you said, people want to buy from people they trust.
Yeah.
If you come and you start a blog and all of a sudden you're selling to them right away, you're going to kill that trust, because you are going to be seen that they think they're just a money-making option, right? People don't want to be seen that way. They want to be seen as a human. Okay. So as a beginner, if you're just starting out and you're like, okay, that's it, this is what I want, I'm going to make this much in so many days, don't do that, because you're going to set yourself up and you're going to get super disappointed when it doesn't happen. Okay.
Appreciate that.
And so what I love about monetization, and when I coach clients, it isn't about what everybody else is doing. Personally, I hate doing ads. I absolutely hate ads on websites. If I go and all of a sudden I'm trying to, let's say, look up a recipe on Pinterest, and it is ad after ad after ad, I will instantly click off, because it is a huge turnoff to me that I'm not even getting a chance to read what you wrote, because you're just selling to me.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And some of the best advice I got a few years ago was an ad. When you're putting an ad on your website, you're actually taking your readers and saying, here, go here instead.
Yeah.
You're sending people away from your website, and you don't want to do that.
Right.
I mean, you can have ads, and there's nothing wrong with ads, but there are better ways to monetize. What is your niche? Because that's going to be important, right? What is it that you are teaching your clients? Because that is where you're going to start saying, okay, this is what I can teach them. How can I turn what I teach into a profit? Right? So a lot of the times, my clients, I've had a few clients become coaches because they take their experience, PTSD, relationship trauma, and they now take it in their life experiences. They now take it and they coach. So one is a relationship coach, right? She also took it and she creates digital planners, PTSD planners, self-care planners, self-love planners. She's taken her knowledge, her story, and her expertise and turned it into a way that people can connect with her. And she takes her lived experience and says, this is what worked for me, and here's a journal on how you can get to where I am now. Right? So monetizing your blog comes down to who is your reader? What is it that they are searching for? What do they need help with that they are willing to pay for? Right?
Yes.
Another example is books. One of them, she wrote a book. And it's funny because I'm like, why don't you have this on your website? Why don't you ever talk about the book that you have published? Right? Because people are like, I don't want to share it. I can't show people what I've done, right? It's very not me. It's about them. But you have this beautiful piece of art and work that you have done. Why are you not showing it to the world? Right? You took the time to do this. So monetizing really comes down to what's going to fit with your vision.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just your blogging vision, your life vision. What is it that you want to see, right? What is it? How do you want to live your life? And for me, ads isn't one of those. I don't want to be that. That doesn't fit with who I am. I want to feel more connected than what an ad allows me to do, right?
So true.
And affiliate links are different than ads. Okay, so what I recommend for affiliate ads, there are tons of programs out there that you can sign up for. But honestly, what I would recommend if you want to monetize through affiliate ads is to look at what do you use in your business, in your everyday life that makes an impact. Okay, reach out to those businesses, right? And say, I absolutely love your product. I use it for my business. Do you offer affiliate program, right? Because you're going to realize that all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, no, I never thought of it before.
Yeah.
They might create one, right? So it's all about, and for me, it's like small businesses. What small businesses do I use in my life every day that I can reach out and say, hey, I would love to share this with my audience because it would be of benefit to them. Do you offer an affiliate link or some way that my audience can benefit from your product? Right? So it's reaching out and getting those different unique pieces of the puzzle that you're going to be like, okay, I like this and this is what fits with my life. I'm supporting a local business, but they're also supporting me. Right? And it's really about that collaboration piece because that is huge in blogging. Right? And that's probably the biggest pieces of monetization because it really depends on who your audience is, because you can come and say, hey, you know what? I do a blog about education. I need way more information than that. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to the parents? Are you talking to the kids? Right? What are they struggling with? So to get super clear on all of that, you need to start making lists. I am a huge list maker. And again, use Trello for this.
Yes.
Plug that in, right? And say, what am I teaching my clients? Right? Make a list of everything that you're teaching them. What am I an expert in? Make a list of what you're an expert in. And then start writing that. And then you can say, oh, you know what? I can do a workbook on this. Or, hey, I can teach a masterclass on this, right? So there's so many different pieces. Once you know who your audience is, what you're an expert in, you can really start to narrow down and say, okay, you know what? I have this much time to work on my business. Because let's say, hey, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, right? So I don't have 40 hours to work, right? That is part of your life vision. Write it down because that is going to dictate what products you can sell, what services you can sell, how many times you can post on your blog, right? Knowing what and how much time you have is going to help you lay that foundation down and say, okay, you know what? I have time for a blog post every other week.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right? You don't have to publish every week. It comes down to what is going to work with the life that I'm living and that I want to live. Right? Because then you can build on that from there.
So true.
I know. So this totally relates to a guest we had a few weeks ago, Kenita Williams, when she was talking about making sure that you're following your path, not the path somebody says you have to follow in order to accomplish it, but what it is that's going to bring you the joy and is going to be, and is what truly gets you to where you want to be in life.
Yeah.
You know, and what I hear you saying is basically, if you're going to monetize your blog, make it relatable to your audience. Like, you don't want some random ad that just pops up for some random thing.
Right.
Instead, to look for what she said, affiliate links.
Right.
And look for things that you can create, then offer your customers that are based off of your expertise in what you're teaching. And then the third thing she mentioned, which I think is so smart, is if you're just starting out, do not monetize your blog. Do not start trying to sell people. Like, create that persona. Let them know who you are. Build up that relationship of trust with your audience. And so if I'm thinking, like, if there's somebody who already has a product, a blog is still a great way to establish your credibility in the product you're already selling. You know, I'm going to throw out like soap making, for example. You can have a blog about health and self-care and the best bubble bath you ever had. And
of course. I mean,
it is. You know,
and if you have a business already, it's different, right? If you're already established and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start blogging. What you can do is you can say, okay, here's my why, right? This is why I started it. But then you can even get more and talk about the scents that are in it. What are the benefits, right? What are the benefits of my soap, right? Where do I buy my products from, right? Are they locally sourced, right? So there's so much more. You're teaching them what your product and what you are about. And you can still, it doesn't come off as you are selling to them. You are giving them knowledge, even though you have a product. Right? You're teaching them while selling to them, right? So it's different when you already have an established store and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to add blogging into my routine. So it's just about getting clear on what's, again, how often you can publish, right? How often you can do the fresh content.
Right.
I will tell you that Selena and I, as web designers, I'm not the web designer. She's the web designer. I'm the copywriter, but whatever. When we create websites for people, we always encourage a blog, because a blog is one of the easiest ways to have fresh, new, updated content regularly on your site, which means those little Google spiders and search engine spiders are crawling your site more frequently, which means we're boosting your ratings up to the, tops of the lists. And that's what we're all looking for, right? You want to be searchable. You want people to find you. You want them to buy your product, that you want them to know who you are, unless you're an anomaly, and then it doesn't matter, I suppose.
How easy would that be, right?
Well, this has been so good, Samantha. Such good information. I think anybody who's like, I mean, we had one commenter that was like, I'm going to start a blog, which I love, right? You inspired someone today, at least one person that we know of, because they commented about it. They jumped into blogging, which I think is fantastic. And anyone else that's out there that has any questions, well, we're going to we're going to show you where you can find Samantha. So that you can, Samantha, tell everybody where they can find you directly.
So my, website is just my name, so SamanthaLaycock.com. And most of my handles are the same, just Samantha Laycock blogging. Pinterest is different. It's Samantha Laycock blogger.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I tried. I tried to get it all the same. But so you can find me there. I do have a Facebook group as well for if you are someone who wants to blog but doesn't know how to start, or if you are a blogger and you've just kind of like, I don't have the passion for it anymore. I do have that as well. I guess I can leave it in the
Yeah, yes. Please share that so we can do. And then can you tell us, you did mention this, but Write Your Story ebook, is that something that is like your newest passion? Is it something that's been out? Like what's the story about your Write Your Story ebook?
Yeah, so I was trying to, so I have a course created for Blog to Heal. So I have different group courses. So Fierce Growth Accelerator is for people who already have a blog, but they've kind of fizzled. They're like, oh, I just don't have the passion anymore. I don't know where it's going. Can you help me? Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what the Fierce Growth Accelerator is. Sorry.
Oh,
the Write Your Story ebook is really a beginning way to recognize your story, but then be able to turn it into a blog. So I break it down into 3 main topics of healing. And so then each of those healings has 3 chapters underneath it to get you to recognize under that umbrella, right? And so then by the end of the book, you can recognize your story. You know how to kind of create an experience list on how to start turning that into a blog.
That's
so
awesome.
It's kind of like a little manual on how you can go from, hey, I know my story, to this is how I share that story through blogging.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've dropped all the comments in the comment links, and so you've got all the links there to do all the things: the Growth Accelerator and the Write Your Story ebook for Samantha. Samantha, this has been so great. The information you gave today has been so good for anybody that's considering a blog, and we really appreciate you coming all the way from Canada to join us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Before we head out, everybody, we want to share with you our financial tip jar, which is from Caitlin Eldridge at Eldridge CPA. She's a financial whiz, but she wants to let everyone know, make sure that estimated taxes are 15 to 25% of your net profits. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to DIY this, she's a great resource. And, she just gives us a tip every week to try and help us out.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Yes, thank you. And then next week, join us next week. We're going to talk about not how to land, but how to land. That would be a typo on my end. I'm really sorry about that. How to land B2B clients. So business to business clients, even if you're not a salesperson. So we're excited to have Leah Niederthal on, and she's the founder of Smarts Get Paid. She's going to talk to us about business to business selling. And then last but not least, you can always find us at AnnaandSelena.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it.
So thank you again, Samantha. We appreciate you joining us today from home, all the way from Canada. And like Keelan just said, thank you for all the advice. We appreciate anybody that is joining us today or on the replay. But go find Samantha, because she's awesome.
She is awesome.
And I learned stuff. So we'll catch you next week. Bye.